So you're thinking about starting a lawn care business. I'm going to give you a bunch of ideas. What I'd recommend is that in addition to this video, you look at all the other videos I've got on Lawn Care Millionaire, and you watch those videos, because when you put together the hundreds and hundreds of videos I've given you, what it will do is it will give you a mindset, and the mindset that you need to think about the business. So there's lots of diverse information on Lawn Care Millionaire. So I'd really recommend you consume the videos. But let's start here. So the biggest thing that I would start with when I'm encouraging you to start the lawn care business is just start it. It's very easy to get wrapped up in what kind of licensing do I need, and should it be an LLC or an S Corp or a Corp, or what should my entity be, and what kind of bank account should I open, and do I need business cards, and what kind of marketing should I do, and on and on and on. And when you think about all that stuff, what kind of trucks, what kind of equipment, it's just overwhelming. And what you could do is you could find yourself having this conversation now, and in 6 months, and in a year, and in 2 years. And before you know it, 5 years from now, you're like still talking about it, or you're saying, man, I wish I had started that business when I had more time, or I had more freedom, or I had something else, something that you felt wouldn't have been a barrier to getting started that is now existing in your life. So my first piece of advice would be just to start. Just focus on getting your first job. Then focus on getting making your first $1,000 in a month. And once you do that, several things are going to happen. And I'll give you some ideas to do that in a moment. But several things are going to happen. One, you're going to figure out if this business that you think you want to own is something you really want to be doing for the next 10 years of your life or 20 years of your life. You're going to figure out if you even like the clients that you're selling to in your market, the kind of work, the team members that you need to hire. Are you willing to put in the long hours and do what you've got to do in this business, in this industry? You can figure that out pretty quickly. You can figure that out by the time you've made it to about $1,000 a month in revenue. And so I would say just get started. Go get that first job. Okay? Now, once you've proven that you can get some work, then you can start making some of the wise decisions you need to make to kind of clean up the business, which I'll speak to. So let me give you one more point. This is what I see all the time. So you're saying, hey, I want to start a business, but I need to get an LLC. I need to get a bank account. I need to figure out business cards. I need to get a website. I need to get all these other things. And that becomes a form of procrastination that keeps you from ever getting your business started. And most do it. I've been guilty of it as well. You can eliminate that risk of procrastination by simply saying, I'm going to go get my first job. And I'm going to do that. And I'm going to go get a mower. We'll just start as a mowing example, but it could be fertilization, weed control, it could be pest control, it could be whatever. Pool cleaning, doesn't matter. But let's just go with mowing for the example. And you apply your service to this example. So you go get your first job. You find a friend, a neighbor, a family member, somebody that'll let you mow their property. Then you find another one. If you do a great job, odds are you're going to end up with 3 or 4 or 5 pretty quick. Then from there, you expand into doing some very inexpensive marketing. But initially, the only decision you have to make is, I'm going to do this thing. You get your first job, and you buy, if you don't already have it, buy a mower, a weed eater, and a blower. You are now in business. You are not allowed to do anything else. You're not allowed to get a website. You're not allowed to start a business account. You're not allowed to do anything. Just have them write you a check or pay you in cash for that job. And do that for some number of weeks or months. And if you're aggressive and you're already certain, then go faster. But I'm telling you, this is how you should start, because most people will talk about this forever and they won't take any action. You have to take everything off the table that could be distracting and allow you to procrastinate and just get started. So now, once you've got started and you've got your first job or two and people are just giving you cash, which I do not recommend you do long term, but they're giving you cash or they're paying you a check. Now you can ask yourself, hey, is this something I want to go a bit bigger in? And if you do, this is where you start to think through some of the things that you need to get done. I would encourage you very early to get a website. Now, let's be realistic. You may have no money and all your money went into buying your mower, okay? Can't get a website yet. So I would recommend that maybe you have another job part-time, if you don't already, and you save all the money you make from this thing and you just work. If you got to work 7 days a week, you work 7 days a week. And you take all the extra money you're making from this thing and you use that money very specifically for marketing and sales purposes. You don't need a fancy truck. You don't need a fancy wrap. You don't need the greatest equipment. You don't need anything. All you need to do is get more work, because more work pays for everything. So now you got a few properties. You're saving all the money. Then you need to get a website. You can keep that very inexpensive. You can always just make it look good and professional, but you can always upgrade it later. Just get a site. You could do it initially for hundreds of dollars. Then I would recommend you invest and watch some of my videos in a quality door hanger, assuming that your market that you're serving allows for door hangers. Also, if it's, let's say it's September, I'd wait till the springtime to make that investment. But in springtime, for a period of time, there's a real opportunity to put out door hangers or knock on doors or put the equivalent of postcards, not in mailboxes, but on the door. And that, if it's done right, and again, watch my videos, you will get some business from that. One of the next cheap, really, let's call it inexpensive ways to get some business is Facebook. There's a learning curve. There's a lot of ways to do it wrong, but Facebook ads and a variety of other things are quite affordable even today. That could be yet another source of clients. I'd also recommend that you aggressively ask for referrals. You aggressively get reviews. All this, the asking for referrals and the getting of reviews, the only expense to you is the time you're going to invest getting them and maybe giving a gift card and a $25 gift card to a local restaurant to say thank you when you get a referral or you get a review. Very important. These are very, very basic things. Almost all of this stuff is more about your time than it is about your money. And those sort of start the foundation to get the wheels turning ever so slowly inside your business. Now, once you've done a few of these things, you can open a business account, which is near free. You can go to Chase or BBVA or Bank of America. Maybe just go to Chase. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Go wherever you want, but they're near free. Eventually, once the business gets rolling, and I skip the step about naming your business. You don't even have to have a business name to get started. You can do that later before you start building your website. And you go buy a $19 domain on GoDaddy.com. So you can kind of see my thinking here. You just sort of start and you step into this thing. But now once you've got your website and your business name and your domain, now you've opened a business account. Maybe you open an LLC this year, maybe you do it next year. I recommend eventually you have an LLC or some kind of an entity, but it doesn't have to be day one. You can do that later through LegalZoom, and it'll cost you some number of hundreds of dollars. There's licensing stuff. You can clean that up later. This may not be popular advice. People may watch and say, oh, no, you got to get all that stuff straight from the beginning. I'm saying prove the concept first, sell work. Once you've done that, go clean up this other stuff. I'd really recommend that, and I already said this, but I was kind of looking at, I've got a couple notes for you here, so I was looking down at those. As you're really thinking about this, I would recommend that you spend the majority of your time when it comes to thinking about your business learning marketing, reading articles about marketing, reading books about marketing. Marketing and selling is all that matters in the beginning. So you're wanting to learn how to construct a quality door hanger, because that door hanger could be used for putting out door hangers in a neighborhood. That door hanger could be used for doing what's called 9-around. So if you have a home right here, you go after the 2 homes and the 4 across the street constantly. And if you got enough time, you keep hitting that street about every 3 weeks. And then that knowledge you're learning to write your door hanger, you can apply that to, it's different, a little bit different, but it's similar. You can apply that to Facebook. You can apply that to other initiatives on the web, writing the copy or the wording on your website. So marketing. You want to be studying marketing. And that's enough marketing activity. You just want to be really aggressive in those areas. Referrals, reviews, your website. Make sure you can accept estimates on requests online from your website, Facebook, and the door hangers. And again, go watch all the other videos on Lawn Care Millionaire to learn how to do this stuff right. And then expand out of Lawn Care Millionaire to books and different information that you can find online. Okay. A great place to start is direct response copy, just in terms of learning the basic language of marketing. So that's a great place to Google and just start to learn headlines and subheads. Again, none of this is easy, but if you want to win, these are the things you're going to do. And remember, we're getting rid of most of the other activities and we're just starting with the absolute basics. Now, you're starting to win some business, so you've got to get really clear on your pricing. Most people underprice their work, and you're going to naturally do it. You're going to mess it up. There's nothing you can do about it. It's part of the learning curve. But you need to get your pricing correct from the beginning, because At first, you're getting to keep all the money for you because you're doing the work. And so it might feel great depending on what level of income you're coming from. You're like, man, this is a big win. The thing is, you want to make sure that you're pricing accurately so that very soon as this grows, you can afford to get a helper and then a second helper and eventually give them the whole crew so that eventually you can hire somebody to work in the office. So your pricing has to be able to support building the infrastructure of the business. One of the most common problems is companies and owners, they burn out because they get stuck in the field too long or they get stuck doing all the work themselves. And one of the reasons they get stuck is because they are not pricing their work in such a way that they can even afford to hire help. And if you can't afford to hire help, then all you've done is bought yourself a little bit better paying job than you could have gone and got elsewhere. And you've bought yourself a lot of additional headaches. So you really want to start learning your pricing. There's more Lawn Care Millionaire videos. There's other YouTubers out on the web. There's all kinds of things you can do to start learning pricing. I would tell you to be very careful on a lot of the pricing information you'll find online. Some is good, some is not. What you need to do is you need to think when you get to a property and you arrive. So I'm not going to go too far from the pricing because you can Google this and you can look on YouTube, but think about this very core lesson from the beginning. When you get to a property and you turn off the ignition of your truck, write down your start time. When you finish that property, you fully loaded the truck and you get back in the truck, start the ignition, write down your stop time. The difference between start and stop time is how long it took you to take care of the property. And if it's just you, that's the amount of time. If it's you and a helper, then it's that amount of time times 2. So if you were there from 1 p.m. till 2 p.m., you were there 1 hour. If it's just you, it took 1 hour to do a job. If there's 2 of you in the truck, it took 2 hours to do the job. That's your man-hour time. And you divide that number by how much you charged for that property. So if you charged $50 and it took 2 man-hours, you and a helper for 1 hour, you made $25 a man-hour. That becomes your benchmark. A lot of your pricing, especially in residential, is going to be based on man-hour rate. So eventually, when you go out and you eyeball initially a property and say, hey, this is going to take 3 man-hours, 3 working hours, and I know I need to make $45 or $55 or $60 an hour, you can literally take 3 times $50 an hour and you know you need to charge $150. That's the most elementary way to start thinking about pricing. But go watch some videos on pricing, but you need to get that right early on. The other thing that very, very few individuals do is they don't understand the finances of their business. Now, I'm going to encourage you in terms of order of operations to start the way I recommended. Very simple, and where you spend all your time initially is on sales and marketing. Where you spend all your learning initially is on sales and marketing, while at the same time you're really paying attention to and trying to learn your pricing. Once you're starting to pull those two things together, now I want you to start thinking about financing. I'd read a book called Straight Talk, Simple Profit. Dang it, I'm getting it wrong. Straight Talk, Simple Numbers, Big Profits by Greg Crabtree. That would be one place to start. Just look up Greg Crabtree. It's not on Audible. You'll have to actually read the book. I got the title close enough, but if you look for Greg Crabtree, that's a very good introductory book to finance. Highly recommend it. So start to learn your finance. Now, if you get more advanced, if you come into service autopilot world, I can point you to people that you should talk to. I can point you to a financial workshop with a guy named Jason Cupp that you should attend. But start with that book. And after you start getting your first jobs, you're eventually going to learn the topic of job costing. So I'm giving you some things to think about in the future that you want to learn. But again, remember order of operations. Pretty quickly, I would recommend that you get a tool that can do invoicing and keep up with how much money people owe you. Very early, if you wanted, you could start with a spreadsheet, meaning I've got to do these 5 jobs. But early in the business, I would recommend you find a quality piece of software that can help you run the business, that can handle all your invoices, handle all your payments, keep up with how much money you're owed, and keep up with your schedule, keep up with your job notes, things like that. I'd encourage you to go more advanced as soon as you can and get a piece of software that can market to your clients, meaning it can upsell, it can help you get more work from your clients, because there's 3 ways to grow your business. You can sell more new business, more new clients, you can raise the prices of the work you're providing your clients, and you can sell your clients more work. So if you get the right type of technology that can help you sell more work, then you're going to be in a great spot. And so that's why I recommend, one of the reasons I recommend technology early. The other thing that I will tell you is from day one, you should highly consider requiring your clients pay you with a credit card and charging their credit cards every week or every day frequently, because you're going to very quickly figure out that the game of business is getting paid really fast so that you can you spend some money, you need to get the money in the door as fast as you can so you have money to buy equipment, pay your team, pay yourself, things of that sort. Most companies get this wrong. It's one of the most important things you can do in business, get paid really fast. If you start from the beginning accepting credit cards, you will have an advantage over everyone else. The right piece of software can also do that for you. And I'll leave you with this. And there's so much more we could talk about. I could talk for hours, but I'll leave you with this. The failure rate in the business and in all business is massive. The vast majority never make it. One of the reasons they don't make it is they burn out. They get exhausted. They're tired. So initially, they had this big dream and this big plan of what they were going to build, and they were super excited about it. But then what happens is they go through the grind of working the business, doing the work. They don't get enough help fast enough. They're answering the phone, they're doing the billing, they're invoicing, they're dealing with all the problems, they're quoting the work, they're bidding. Bidding and quoting are the same things. They're buying the equipment, they're maintaining the equipment, on and on and on, and they're doing all of that. And before they know it, they're working all day, every day, and every night, and all day Saturday, and they can't stop thinking about work on Sunday, and they're probably working Sunday night. And you can do that for a period of time because there's an energy level that you have, because you're going to change the path of your future because of what you're working on right now. But eventually, as the progress you experience and the income level you experience start to slow, the grind of that level and that amount of work and just the challenge of all business, it starts to wear on you. And so you start to burn out. The remedy for burnout is doing what I said. It's learning how to sell and market and bring in business. It's learning how to price correctly so you can afford good team members. And remember that word, good team members. There's a huge difference between an okay team member and a great team member. And the great team members, the good team members, will help you build a business that is not miserable to own. And so if you work on those things, and the marketing, the sales, understanding your pricing, what will happen is you'll build a team around you. And as you build the team around you, you'll hand off work that for so many, they get trapped behind. They get trapped behind the billing and the invoicing and the dealing with every phone call. If you hand some of that stuff off, it'll allow you to keep your energy level up. It'll allow you to keep marching forward. It won't be easy. But most of the failure in these businesses comes more from burnout than it comes from not being able to make it. And that's because they're not focused almost exclusively on sales and marketing from day one. They're focused on all these ancillary activities that matter but don't matter. Yes, you should get an LLC. Yes, you should have a business bank account. Yes, you should get a website as fast as you can possibly get it. Yes, you should do all these other things. But none of those things matter at the end of the day if you do not sell work and you do not consistently bring more work in the door to keep your business busy and growing. So I say focus on that. Once you've got that little engine running, now you can start cleaning up little fires and you can start fixing things that you should have maybe done months ago, but you just frankly didn't have the time because you were selling. So if you solve for that, you actually sell and you price correctly and you think about bringing on help as quickly as you can, you'll avoid the two biggest killers, not enough work and burnout. Happy to answer questions if you post them below. I hope that was helpful. And good luck starting your business. It's super exciting. See you later.